Okay, so this next slide is titled The Release of Robert Baltovich. This is slide 13, if you need that. So in 1999, Robert reached out to James Lockyer, as I previously mentioned. He was a lawyer who was very passionate in helping people who have been falsely accused. So in the year 2000, Robert was released on bail with the help of James Lockyer. James Lockyer was able to prove that the imprisonment of Robert Baltovich was based on evidence that was falsely claimed and falsely collected, based on hypnotism and the previously mentioned things like tunnel vision, police misconduct, exclusion of evidence, and judicial bias. So James Lockyer was able to prove that Robert Baltovich was able to live freely. And by freely, I don't mean completely free. He was on a type of parole. He wasn't allowed to do certain things like buy property or have certain titles, like he couldn't co-own things or he couldn't invest in certain things. But he could still live and he could still get a job. So he then went on to, I would like you to please switch slides to the slide 14, titled Life on Bail. So yeah, I already pretty much mentioned that. I forgot to tell you to switch. But Robert also went to a college. I forget the name of the college, but he did study language as well as he minored in psychology. He was already graduated from the University of Toronto with an engineering degree. But after those 8 years in prison, he had completely changed his personality almost and his interests and passions. He wanted to now help people who are experiencing mental struggles. So he learned how to do that in college a little bit. So next slide, please. This is slide 15. This is the last slide. So in 2008, I believe, yes, 2008, James Lockyer and Robert had been continuously working since 2000, where he was released on bail, to 2008, trying to build enough evidence to show that Robert was never at the crime scene, nor did he have anything to do with the actual murder of Elizabeth Bain. So after 8 years, they were actually able to bring up that fact that there was no evidence against him based on the hypnosis. I think it was 2007, hypnosis had been completely taken out of the courtroom in Canada. So that was complete. That was very helpful in this case to try and get his acquittal. Basically saying, yeah, we brainwashed the witnesses, which was our main source of conviction. So if brainwashing is now not allowed, then it shouldn't have been allowed to put him back in prison to this day. So they couldn't use that evidence, and therefore he was free of all charges. James Lockyer would later go on to create the AIDWYC, which stands for the Association in Defense of the Wrongfully Convicted. James Lockyer, in the world of lawyers, was known to be pretty popular as well as pretty nice. He even made a bunch of public statements to help his client, Robert Baltovich. He seems like a really nice guy. I liked his videos quite a lot when I was researching this case, and I would recommend you maybe look him up if you're bored. So yeah, that's the end of this trial. I would like to also note that they're actually investigating the guy who may have actually done it, and he actually got off scot-free. He passed away 2 years ago before actually ever being questioned or even imprisoned. But sadly, this case is now closed. They're not looking for anyone now. But Robert Baltovich continues to live as a free man. He now has his sanity and his freedom. And the next slide is just sources, if you'd like to check those. But yeah, thank you for this project. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.